and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Nerd Chronicles. This is your host, Proud Lame, Certified Beta Male, Simba and Giant, whatever it is, no game. The socially awkward nerd, Christian Paul, speaking at your service. This following episode contains graphic content that could be uncomfortable to some viewers, that could be like disheartening, not safe for work, that type of ordeal. It could offend some viewers in some way without any intent at all. It could be strong language. It could be basically strong graphic scenes, however it may be. There will be an E that's actually placed onto the top label up on the YouTube set, and it can basically require either views for a minimum 13 up, or in some cases, depending on YouTube's policy, it could be 18 up or however it may be. Please take notice before we get on with the presentation. Alright, viewer discretion advised. Now let's get back to it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of the Nerd Chronicles. Okay, this is your host, Proud Lame, Certified Beta Male, Simba, whatever is no game. The socially awkward naive nerd, Christian Paul's up in the building right now. Okay. And what I want to discuss, ladies and gentlemen, basically I have a theory. Based on what I've read up in these crypto streets, up in crypto finance, ladies and gentlemen, is that Changpeng Zhao, the CEO of Binance, what I've been hearing from other fellow nerds and other fellow applied mathematicians is that he is becoming the next Sam Bankman-Fried. And we're going to actually try to dig deep into a video here as to why that is the case. But before we do, we want to try and make sure we thoroughly understand what auditing is. And I have this definition that's shown up in Wikipedia here, ladies and gentlemen, for those actually looking up. And basically the audit is the independent examination of finance information of any entity, profit-oriented or not, irrespective of size or legal form, where such an examination is conducted with a view to express an opinion thereof, and which ensures that books of accounts are properly maintained by concern as required by law. They provide third-party assurance to various stakeholders that the subject matter is free from material misstatement. Term most frequently applied to the audits of the financial information related to a legal person, whether it's pure money, gold, stocks, bonds, cryptocurrency. Okay. Other commonly audited areas include secretarial and compliance, internal controls, quality management, project management, water management, and energy conservation, SEC, FINRA, the whole ordeal. As a result of the audit, stakeholders may evaluate and improve the effectiveness of risk management, control, and governance over the subject matter. And what happens if the company fails to audit, which we will actually dig right now. So you fail the audit, you're going to get hit with a bigger tax bill. Boom! IRS finds that you didn't pay the correct amount of taxes, so you utilize the account audit to recover them. In this and the penalties, you are required to pay the additional taxes as well as the interest on those taxes. This does not mean you'll end up in jail. And they have not all IRS audits will result in a penalty, and I know they have a bunch of legal firms that actually show this. Huge shout out to Brotman Law, by the way. So they have a bunch of common reasons for audit penalties and fees. You don't respond to an audit notice, you can't really wish it away, right? You're gonna create more audit process if your idea is not respond to the audit will take care of itself or not followed up, right? So audit notice basically you see from the IRS will have a deadline for you to respond. You can ignore the notices, you can lose all your right to dispute the audit tax court if you just ignore subsequent notice, right? And the IRS then will be able to decide all the issues against you and begin the process of collecting additional taxes, penalties, and interest. And you have that issue, IRS audit attorney can deal with, be able to help you out there, right? So I try to scroll the penalties that they're actually shown. And you got penalties rates from 20 to 40%. And then come to tax fraud. When you have a filing of a tax fraud return, it's considered to be fraud by the IRS, which is very criminal. And any taxpayer who is convicted of fraud or aiding another taxpayer in committing fraud may be subject to forfeiture of property and possibly jail time. Now, the DOJ prosecute tax fraud cases, not the IRS, right? And they can get you not only just for tax fraud, but also tax evasion, right? So you gotta be very, very, very careful. right? So if you file false tax returns consistent, you are done. All right, now let's get straight to the video here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the title of basically a YouTuber here that actually shows how Binance is basically fucked in this case, right? As you see in the title, Binance is fucked. You know what I mean? I already have the E titled up in there, so you know, be forewarned on this, right? And it comes from a article. It comes from the video that's actually from a fellow YouTuber based on the name of Yan Shin. And here's what his claim is, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me, by the way. So let's try to see what he has to say here. Let's see.
Hey guys, it's Asher. Binance is in deep trouble. This is bad. And if Binance collapses, crypto is going to lose its biggest crypto exchange, but it will lose a lot more than that because the public's trust and patience with the degenerate gambling and scams that seem to make up 99% of the crypto industry is already at breaking point. And it looks like Binance is just as dirty, if not more dirty, than FTX, BlockFi, and all the other depraved lowlifes that run illegal exchanges, selling financially desperate people magic beans in the form of worthless crypto tokens and JPEGs of monkeys wearing funny hats. Because this morning I went to look again at the report that Mazars produced for Binance. You know, that report that CZ, the CEO of Binance, said was the audited proof of reserves. Yeah, well, this is what this report looked like last week and up to yesterday. But today, Mazars made a subtle change and now the report looks like this. So yeah, in the video I made last week, I actually...
This is definitely not going to be fun at all. Alright, yo, let's continue.
Asked the question of how the fuck a respected global auditing company like Mazars went and basically openly facilitated fraud, because this report was an AUP, absolutely not an audit of any kind. But they produced it knowing full well that Binance was going to misrepresent this report to the public as a formal audit. They knew it because CZ literally said so publicly before they did the report. And now Mazars realized that they really fucked up and they went and deleted the report. This is unprecedented. I have no idea whether they paid Binance the money back or if they pointed CZ to a bit in their contract that probably said Binance is not allowed to commit fraud by misrepresenting what this report is, but it is gone. And yesterday CZ went on CNBC and oh boy, he made it a lot worse. You are going to want to see it.
And we're going to actually see it ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. This is probably may not be looking good for CC up in here. But we are going to see what the heck is going on with Binance. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a clip coming out of the squawk box of CNBC where they have Changpeng Zhao, the founder of Binance, coming in to actually discuss their little one-to-one transactions that they did when it comes to all the investors actually pouring in some money into Binance, right? And you are about to see CZ over here really squeal for his life due to the fear that they may try to get him for some sort of fraud, the same way that FTX did, to the point where literally FTX stock literally plummeted, right? After exposures found out that it was like a scam all along, and this ordeal with Binance could be the similar case. Let's get right into it.
So many issues about trust and credibility and integrity in this space, and I want to talk about FTX in a moment, but I want to start with what's happening at your own firm. Given the outflows this week, I saw that you said on an AMA, this is one of these Ask Me Anything, you said there's no amount of withdrawals that would put us under any pressure. But that, I think, is a very bold statement to be making. How are people and why should people trust that their money is safe at this point?
All right, let me fix myself, ladies and gentlemen. Give me one moment. Oh boy. Let's continue, ladies and gentlemen. My apologies.
So I think thanks Andrew for having me. And the well-run crypto exchanges should hold user assets one-to-one. So
right.
User deposit Bitcoin, we hold it in Bitcoin, we move to a cold wallet, we keep some in the hot wallet. And people, they sell it, now the Bitcoin belongs to somebody else, but we still hold it in the cold storage. People can withdraw 100% of the assets they have on Binance. We will not have an issue in any given day. So 100% of the users withdraw 100% of the assets, we'll be fine. This is very different for traditional financial people to understand, because banks run on fractional reserves. And the traditional regulators, many of them may think that it's okay for crypto businesses to be running on fractional reserves. That is not okay. In crypto, there's no central bank printing money to bail out banks when there's a liquidity crunch.
And understand, ladies and gentlemen, what crypto is originally designed to do is basically like a decentralized way of commerce and finance, where you actually make transactions when it comes with currency exchanges up there, transaction of crypto money, right? Basically in between others, so that, you know, it doesn't get like fully controlled within like one big party, right? And this is where the craziness comes by when it comes to all these founders of crypto and all that, when you try to preserve it with the general public, and unfortunately backfires up in your face. Now, the host of Squad Box can actually go and dig into some deep questions when it comes to Binance actually having like auditors make sure they have their stuff literally 1-on-1 to the T, and we are going to get to that right now.
So crypto businesses have to hold user assets 1-to-1, and that's what we do. It's very simple.
Okay, but let me ask you about that specifically, and I don't want to get too technical, but indulge me for a moment. When you had what seemed to be liquidity issues around customers wanting USDC, it looked, at least from this vantage point, that what was happening here could have been avoided if, and tell me if I'm wrong about this, you allowed customers to deposit and hold USDC instead of what it looked like was that you auto-converted them into your own exchange dollar. Am I wrong?
There's a minor corrections. So number one is we do the auto conversion into BUSD, which is not issued by us, which is not the exchange dollar. It's actually issued by a New York DYF licensed entity, Paxos. So
yeah, that the one that actually literally bailed out on you when they try to vote, like when they actually dug more information. But we'll continue.
The reserves are in New York. It's a stable coin. The problem we had before is we have many different types of stable coins on Binance, and you know, Bitcoin trades against USDC, Bitcoin trades against BUSD, and USDT. There's TUSD. There's a bunch of other things, and then it's very difficult for users to find the best price. So we said, okay, they're all stable coins and they should convert 1-to-1. So let's combine all of them into one, so that the users just they want to buy Bitcoin, they go to Bitcoin BUSD and they find it. On the deposit and withdrawal, we do the conversion. We have channels to convert them 1-to-1. But the channels we have actually have to go through a bank, because to convert from BUSD to USDC, we have to sell BUSD into US dollars, cash in a bank, move it to a different bank account, and then buy USDC at a different institution. So that day, we had more users trying to buy or trying to deposit BUSD and withdrawing USDC, and we ran out of that. And the bank that does the conversion doesn't open until 6 hours later, and that's a bank in New York. So we were actually blocked. This issue was actually caused by a bank. So that's what. And stablecoin is the only one we convert. Every other asset, people deposit Bitcoin, we hold Bitcoin. People deposit Ethereum, we hold Ethereum.
Right. And you understand why I'm asking that question, because it does appear in that instance, at least, that when you said no amount of withdrawals would put you under pressure, by default it put you under pressure. Now, whether it was you're doing or some other bank's doing. And so the question is, longer term, would you reevaluate how you do that?
So we have the assets to convert. So there's no margin, no leverage. We just needed the bank to open.
Here, I'm actually gonna skip this one there. I want to go back to the past video when they talk about auditing. Let's actually go back to what Sasa basically said. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go back to this little clip here on actually what they're talking about with the reserves and auditing with Changpeng Zhao. So here we go with the craziness.
Because in this interview, Caesar continues making false statements, lying and making shit up. It's really bad. He keeps peddling the same line that all customer assets are held 1-to-1 in the reserves.
People can withdraw 100% of the assets they have on Binance. We will not have an issue in any given day. So 100% of the users withdraw 100% of the assets, we'll be fine.
And he also keeps saying that Binance has no debt.
Very simply, Binance does not owe people money. Binance does not have loans from other companies, from other funds. We just don't have it.
The problem is that this is exactly what everybody else said as well. And as a result of stealing and gambling billions of dollars of their customers' money, FTX went insolvent because they happened to actually have $9 billion worth of liabilities.
So basically, in other words, Binance is basically dealing with $8 billion worth of debt, according to the article that they have shown here, right? And they got all these other crypto sites saying that they're going to publish proof that they can cash out every user and all that stuff. Coinbase emailed the customer Friday saying the business is different, ultimately better protects investors. It doesn't really deal with the major crypto culling as we see here.
Now, Binance is claiming that they are all good, but they won't let anyone check whether that's true or not.
And that's the problem. There's no fucking audits going up in Binance. Like, why don't you get like a legitimate auditor to make sure your shit is literally audited from year to year to make sure your stuff is okay?
Crypto investors are now queuing up in their droves to withdraw money. Tether is seeing billions of dollars withdrawn. They have their own major question marks about their transparency. Ethereum is seeing a run on the bank as well as people are withdrawing funds. And in the panic, Crypto.com, another major crypto exchange, accidentally, you could make this up, move $400 million to the wrong address, something they only admitted and corrected after their users saw it and called them out on Twitter. Of course, you would already know all of this if you also read the Daily Upside, who are the sponsors of today's video. The Daily Upside is a
we're gonna actually skip through some of this here.
Short pieces, really well written by finance professionals that combine facts and data with a subtle dose of
subtle dose of crazy. I'm gonna skip all this nonsense here.
If for whatever reason you do not love it,
they're doing a little promo. Now, we're gonna see homeboy CC over here squealing.
And we also do not have loans to other people that we depend on for our next payroll.
Did you notice how he said Binance has no loans, then paused, then qualified it by saying that we depend on for the next payroll? Make this shit up. And at the same time, Caesar went and bought a worthless AUP from Mazars. For whatever reason, that AUP has now been deleted by Mazars. The obvious question here being, did Mazars uncover something afterwards? Did Mazars see a huge transaction coming out of the wallets that they just audited after the cutoff date and smell a rat? Or did Mazars find out something about Binance's balance sheet that it is not quite as squeaky clean as Binance would like to make up? What was it? Because if CZ wants to pretend that he is all transparent, it is really easy to prove. Go and get an actual fucking proper audit.
Boom! That right there. You're gonna solve all your issues. You don't have to be worried about getting risk for tax fraud or tax evasion and all stuff, so you don't have to be really risk actually getting yourself to jail. It's just that simple, self-explanatory.
Go and hire a real auditor to do it. Go and publish your P&L. You're a finance institution. Go and publish your balance sheet. Get registered in an...
And no finance institution is immune from auditing, whether it's stocks and bonds, actual cash, or cryptocurrency. Again,
actual country that has actual regulation and have professional auditors confirm that you are not completely full of shit. Because
there we go.
What? If you go and do that, you will immediately get a giant boatload of trust from your customers and everybody.
And your stock will rise because of that.
Else. And what good reason in the current environment, in the current situation, is there to not do it out of choice? Why would you not do an audit?
So
no, but an audit from a Big Four auditor would reveal that, CZ.
Boom! Right there. Reveal all that stuff there.
If you could get a Big Four auditor to say that, if you're saying that some of them don't want to work with you, that raises questions too. They don't want to work with you because you don't have the files and the data. That's
bullshit. Any professional auditor would love to work with a cryptocurrency and make sure they one-to-one. The fact is, Binance is literally playing dirty right now and trying to hide all their little corruption when it comes to their money, and also the same way that FTX did with Sam Bankman-Fried, so that they ass don't get caught with fraud. That's what they're trying to do. They don't want their shit out. They don't want all their dirty stuff literally exposed right in front of the whole public to see. That's why homeboy here does not want to talk about auditing. We're not going to do all this stuff one-to-one thing. That's nonsense. He covering his ass up. And you're going to see it literally down the line.
That would make them feel comfortable signing off and giving that stamp of approval?
Actually, many of them don't even know how to audit crypto exchanges.
Bullshit! Bullshit! They know how to audit every single financial method you have, every single financial type, to make sure that either it's one-to-one or any type of form to make sure it's legitimate or not. They know how to handle stocks, they know how to handle bonds, and they damn well know how to handle cryptocurrency. This motherfucker has no clue what the fuck he's talking about. And he's a computer science major. Right? Embarrassing.
They don't.
And look at the host reaction. Look at her reaction right there. It's embarrassing.
When they audit, they're very used to auditing
He got no clue what the fuck he's talking about whatsoever. None.
a firm. They don't know how to audit user assets, different blockchains, etc.
According to CZ, auditing firms don't want to work with crypto companies and they don't know what they are doing. They're all dumb. This is very typical as a problem for CZ, who thinks that everyone else is an idiot and he is the only smart guy in the room. There was one other dumbass who thought the same exact thing, and that douchebag is now in handcuffs in the Bahamas waiting for his extradition to the US, where he is going to rot in jail. And you know what? Coinbase is a publicly
and they publicly traded, and publicly audited, right? And they do the same stuff. Let's go.
So though,
I don't know the details.
So they understand it well enough.
Deloitte is the auditor for Coinbase.
There we go.
So they can figure.
They do have some experience.
Much smaller. Coinbase much smaller jurisdiction coverage.
No, it's way bigger because it knows how to literally have coverage of the whole world dealing with fucking Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. They know what they're doing.
Global coverage, number of coins, number of products. It's still a bit different.
What kind of an answer is that? They are not as big as us, therefore, of course, nobody could do our audit, even though they can perfectly well do theirs.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to literally stop the video here. I'm actually gonna show literally a graph and like how they doing so far and all this other stuff, and then I'll let you guys literally be the judge and give my little 2 cents on this whole conclusion. So we'll just stop it from there. Shout out to Shots. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we have basically a history sheet over the past year of Binance's close versus volume. Right, so let me try to dig into how they've been operated, because they have been operated like a heavy high volume as of recently. Right, if I'm not mistaken, you're seeing the activity of how Binance's stock and crypto is currently doing, but it is definitely possible that the way it is going, if IRS gives them subsequent audits, if IRS gives Binance subsequent audits and they fail to report them, it could be a huge problem down the line. Mainstream media could pick it up. They could get Changpeng Zhao for tax fraud. They could get Binance sued, and there's going to be chaos toward its customers, and it could be a very, very strong chance that Binance's value will literally plummet over the course of 24 to 48 hours. In the same case of with the FTX coin that Sam Bankman-Fried has, where its value was literally end up becoming null and literally worth a crock of shit, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, the best advice that I could try to give when dealing with something like this, the way this whole crypto market is going, even though crypto was originally designed to be decentralized, right, there's a very good chance, right, that the SEC, FINRA, and the US DOJ will try to do everything they can to make sure they put regulations on crypto. Even though the drawback of it is you could lose, crypto could lose its decentralization that way, which could be an unfortunate blowback towards it. So my advice would be to invest as little money in crypto as possible and try to use it as like blow money that you use for like certain ordeals. Because once you try to invest big in crypto and put most of your money in it, you could gain big one day and literally lose big the next day, right? If you're not careful, right? Never, ever, 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 ever put your eggs in one basket when it comes to investing. It's a very simple prodigy. And then when it comes to actually trading and investing crypto, get a professional trader that actually knows about this shit way more than you do. And that is enough said, ladies and gentlemen. Christian Paul from the Nerd Chronicles signing out. Deuces, deuces, deuces.